Hey, how you guys doing? Michael X, and this is the Emil I Swedish Heavy Tank full review. Now, I was able to achieve 4 masteries, which is to be expected with a brand new vehicle. A lot of people free XP'd all the way through the line to get the Kronvon, and I'm going to go ahead and say that I'm glad I started at the 8. I'm now working on the 9, and I can kind of give you guys some insight into this tech tree. So, first thing we need to be looking at with this vehicle is speed, gun, all that stuff. What makes it good, what makes it bad. We'll cover that stuff in this. If you guys haven't seen my reviews before, we're going to look at the armor, gun, all that stuff. So, 380 horsepower, 50 kilometers forward, which it cannot achieve, 16 kilometers in reverse, 20% chance of engine fire, 34-second reload time, aim time 3.20, which is really bad, accuracy 0.38, which is about average for a heavy, max distance 720, 15 elevation, 12 gun depression, amazing gun depression, and of course 4-round autoloader. So really bad ground resistance, and it's got terrible rotation speed as well, and so same with the turret. To put this into perspective, the M18 Hellcat has 18 per second. So great radio range though, and of course it's ammunition. It is 217 with APCR standard, which is pretty high for a tier 8 heavy autoloader, with 320 alpha, 242 with APCR, with what is that, 320 alpha, and of course 53 for the HE, which I would say don't carry it, which it can do, I believe 400 alpha with HE if it pin. Looking at this tank, it's very deceptive. The armor, very deceptive. It looks like the strongest part of this vehicle is actually the gun, but it's actually not. It's actually the turret. The entire turret is really, it's angled really well, but in its hull down, you guys will see here, I'm going to go ahead and use a PC model. Now keep in mind you can add on about 20 millimeters to this. So just on flat ground, you guys can see that this actually has some decent frontal armor on the plate, and of course it goes into the 2 to 300 area here, just sitting still. And I just want to tell you, if you add 20 to that, you're looking at like 260. So standard shells off of a tier 8 or even APCR will not pin it. But in its hull down, 12 gun depression, you guys could see that this is easily 350. And I have had heat shells off of all kinds of vehicles bounce this without pinning it. Which I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys the weaknesses are the sides of this vehicle. It's kind of like a Mutant 6 if you guys have ever played that vehicle. If it's hull down, simply try to move as far left as you can and shoot it on the cheeks, because it will start losing its effectiveness. To kind of talk about equipment and stuff, which I didn't do on my last review, somebody actually bring it up. I'm using ventilation, vertical stabilizer, and enhanced gun laying drive, and the main reason for that is because it's got terrible aim time, it's got terrible firing on the move. And of course, ventilation gives every one of your crew members, 5 points towards their stats. I would recommend chocolate, but I'm going to go ahead and say that at the time, I only had just beginning, starting on my second perk in this vehicle, which I'm going to go ahead and say best things about this tank is its turret. The speed when going downhill is very helpful. So if you actually climb a hill and then you're coming down it, you can actually get up to that 50 kilometers. If somebody pushes you in a faster vehicle, you can actually keep up with them. But I will say this tank can be rammed. It's not very heavy. I mean, it's a heavy tank, but it's not as heavy as you think. It can be spun out by tier 7s. And because of the turrets mounted in the middle, I've actually been driving and had people spin me out and get me killed. And I'm going to go ahead and say that you guys need to be really careful who's behind you, because if it's a really big, heavy IS-6, IS-3, they can just push you right out into your death. And I've had it happen 3 times. I was going to show it in a video, but, you know, hey, people will troll. I kind of wish you couldn't move, you know, your own vehicles or turn on team kill. One of the two. Because if somebody tries to push me out, I should have the right to kill them, if you ask me. Also, it'll make people be more accurate. Alright, so this is a really long game, but it is my highest damage that I got in it. Now, just keep in mind, I only played 50, well, sorry, about, I don't know, about 60 games in this vehicle. And I'm at about 58 on my mark of excellence. So, I'm working on the Emil 2 right now, and I realized I didn't have any videos up, and I'm gonna go ahead. I was like, I should probably throw this out. I did get 4 masteries in it. I think that I've got this tank figured out pretty well. Really what causes it to get masteries is that you got kind of set the bar for these vehicles. You got to set the bar. So that snapshot you guys seen there was just super lucky. Super lucky. This thing, you do not want to try and do that what I just did. You want to make sure you're aimed in. You know, like I said, the aim time is very bad, and you can see that the low penetration, you know, if you shoot even a tier 7 wrong, it's gonna bounce. A lot of people don't know it, but APCR loses penetration at range, and it also loses penetration on angled surfaces. You guys can see that I actually misshot that so bad that it actually hit right on the track in the front. So even when you're fully aimed in, this thing could still miss. And I'm going to say, if you're trying to shoot anything past 300 meters, you know, good luck with that. Good luck shooting, like, you aren't shooting hatches. You're not shooting hatches. You're not shooting bottom plates. And I'm going to mention to you guys, so hull down, this tank can take anything but artillery. If you get shot with artillery, it will literally one-shot you. And it's the same for the tier 9. It's Achilles. So this is one of those rare games where I actually can pin a guy, and I think it's because I'm in a lower position. But that tank right there, even with the APCR secondary, which has 242 pin, that's not enough to pin an E75's lower plate. So the only thing you could do is YOLO him, get alongside him, and he won't be able to pin you because of your turret thickness. That's what you gotta hope for. If he shoots APCR, he will actually pin you. And I've actually, you know, battled E75s and won only because I knew that I couldn't pin his lower plate. But I did, from about 100 meters, sit there trying to shoot the lower plate on an E75. Couldn't do it. Also couldn't do an E100. But I did find that if you shoot low on the track at maybe a 45-degree angle, you know, you can actually pin the lower plate of it only on the sides if he's at a certain angle, which I wouldn't recommend. I'd say just stay away from E75s and tanks that have really thick bottom plates. I am going to say that during the time of playing this vehicle, I never ran into an IS-6, which I do think that this would actually have just enough to pin it. I mean, just enough. You know, yeah, just enough to pin the hull on it. Now, the secondary ammunition, it pretty much is, it's like the going theme of this vehicle. Seriously, the going theme of this vehicle is low pin, very inaccurate guns. Seriously. So I got 2 shells left, and I'm gonna try and make this count. So I get one on the hull, and I'm gonna go ahead and just get around and get one there. I was hoping to track him, and I do see people are shooting him, so this is all gonna work out for me. So 8 pins now. All right, so perks I would recommend for this vehicle would be Brothers in Arms, which if you guys had a chance to, I would say earn as many of the Band of Brother crews as you can, because they do come with Brothers in Arms, which saves you 100,000 grind. So by the time I was ready to go into the Emil 2, and I actually used a different crew, I used one of those Band of Brother crews, I had from lowest gun to highest, and to the Emil 2, I had gotten 3 perks. So that means I earned about 300. Well, actually, I earned about 120 29,000 XP in total, which is kind of funny if you think about that. So, going back to this vehicle, downhill, super fast, really great turret. Its Achilles are artillery, and that, you know, if you're in a position like I am right here and artillery can hit you, you feel like you're hull down and you're impervious to shots until an artillery just absolutely annihilates you. Happens to me a lot in the Emil. I think it was. And of course this guy just killed himself, which I was kind of laughing about. So, see this guy over here? We got 2 tank destroyers left. So let's see, what am I missing here? So the theme of the Swedish heavy tech tree is, I'll say average accuracy, low pinning guns, which I'm just going to go ahead and say that this is a very skilled vehicle to play. And I think it's why I was able to get masteries on it when other people, I've seen them playing it, but not playing it very well. And the reason why is because you really don't have a lot of pin, and even if you switch to APCR, I mean 242 for the highest pinning round, and the amount of money that it costs, it's almost not worth it. I'm gonna say that if you're grinding the Emil, that's all you're gonna be able to shoot is for 242. I'm gonna say that it should at least be 258 for its secondary, and maybe just increase the aim or the reload or something, because, you know, I will say not being able to basically fight a tier 9 heavy tank, unless it's like a WZ 113, you know, lower plate, or a Conqueror or something. You know, not that you should be able to pin every tank frontally, because I mean you could, if you're hauled down, he ain't gonna be able to do much to you anyway. But this is kind of a trippy thing, and I didn't know about this this area. And I'm going to say that I'm actually kind of shocked that this guy's sitting there. And I'm going to say that I kind of getting sick of people camping in locations that do absolutely nothing for their team. Now, he may have been firing in this match. He may have actually been in the center at some point. But at some point, he decided the team's losing, and I'm going to go into a place and force him to cap out, right? And what I'm actually doing here is I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, I'm going to force him to come to me. That way I don't get killed. I know that it's a you know, it's an SU. I think it's actually an ISU, and it's got the BL9, which is why I was like, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and cap out. Seriously, that's what was my first thoughts, is, hey, I should probably cap out. But I'm thinking also that I want the damage, because I mean I only had this tank 2 days. And I've gotten, you know, this will be one of my best games, to be honest. It doesn't look like it, but it will be one of my bests. I'm going to go ahead and look at something really quick while we're talking about this. Yeah. So the tank that we're getting ready to see here, it's actually an ISU 152, but he's not fully upgraded. If he had the BL9, I probably would have just went back and capped. But I think if he had the BL9, he probably would have just YOLO'd one of us to kill us. Because the HE off the BL9 could actually do 400 damage. I've seen it do it before. But of course they've done some serious nerfs to that. So one of our guys detects him, and he's just in a weird location. I'm going to say that if artillery was still alive, this guy would be so dead. And I'm like, I think that he maybe knew about this position and decided to. So I'm going to say, I probably should have jumped into game chat and started talking to this guy, and we could have just, you know, did a YOLO on him together, and either one of us would have died. You know, and that's it. So we're both about, you know, I'm 394, which means if he does 390, if he high rolls in any way, and if I know it's Russian, it's gonna high roll most of the time, you know, more than it's not. So I get a really good look at him, and he actually goes to the side as well like that, which lets me see that it's not the BL9. Which I'm going to say that there is a strong possibility that even if he had the BL9 on that thing, or sorry, BL10, if he had the BL10 on that, that I probably still could have bounced it, because look at the angle. I don't have enough gun depression, and this has the best gun depression um, for the heavy tanks that I know about. Seriously. Anyway, so this is kind of a cat and mouse. It's gonna take a while. I'm gonna try different new things. I've never seen anybody go over here. I didn't even know you could get here. I did notice that recently they put some blocks up on some certain areas of the map, which really affect, really affect it. So I think I'm like, oh, I can go over on this flat ground and get enough gun depression, but I just don't have enough speed to do it. Which I'm going to say that if I was with my teammates, I probably could have had one of them push me over the hill to the left. So I'm just going to basically play this smart. I'm just going to keep popping up and hope he shoots me, and I'm like, oh crap, I almost did this. I'm like, maybe I could push this tank over. Maybe I can push the tank over. So, if you guys have ever seen my 10 things that you should know about World of Tanks video, you guys will know that always be in position advantage. I'm not in a position of advantage. And I'm giving him plenty to shoot at, but he's not going to do it. He knows he can't pin me. I don't know why he knows. Maybe it's just because he's just looking. I think he's hoping that he can run the clock out. And I'm like, just jump on the cap. That way there's more pressure, because then he might actually YOLO. But the guy decides to come up with me. But he's he's gotten impatient. I want to say that he's getting impatient. Trying to get him to fire. Trying to push this tank over. I'm trying to make him feel like, I'm going to do something here any second. I've YOLO'd over before and paid for it in situations like this, but not in this particular area. He keeps driving forward and then doing the stuff he's doing, which he's trying to get me to come over just like I'm trying to get him to come over. But he's getting ready to screw up here. As you can see, he fires and hits nothing, and I'm going to go ahead and go autoloader. Autoloader. And that's going to give me a total of 16 pins. So he finally screwed up. He got impatient. I probably would have let the clock run out, because I know we would have won because we have more tanks. So yeah, 45, 36 for a mastery with 4 kills. Now I'm going to go ahead and say that it is possible to do way better in this vehicle. And I'm going to say that I bet you the bar for this tank is going to go really high up. It's got a strong possibility to get 3 marked very easily, just because people don't see enough of it. They don't see a lot of it. It's kind of like the Swedish tech tree, or sorry, the Czech tech tree. A lot of Super Unicum players got a hold of that vehicle, and they've made it almost impossible to get 3 marks on it unless you're really good. But yeah, I was just happy to get 1 mastery. It's been 6 months since I've gotten one, and it's just because the bar has been set so high with vehicles, and they really do need to reset the what it takes to get a mastery like every 15 days, because it's very hard to get a mastery, on vehicles. It is. As far as I could tell, some vehicles are just impossible. Like, I know a guy that in a T-57 Heavy that did 10,000 damage. And I think he did 6 kills, and it gave him a mastery 1. That's crazy. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, like always. And of course, comment. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. And have a good one. Later.